Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're glad to have you all here. While we let everyone hop on, we'll do some quick introductions and then we'll get started. So my name's Kayla. I'm here representing the Acelab team, and we have Marwan and Aaron here from Rulon. They'll be walking us through the presentation today. But before I pass it back to them, I'm going to quickly share my screen and take you over to Acelab. Alrighty. So, you should be able to see my screen now. We have Rulon's page pulled up here. Just to be clear, we've kind of made updates to our search bar here in Acelab. So, when you click this here, you'll see we have our new AI search here. That's a great new tool. However, if you're looking for any specific manufacturers, you can just click this button right here to find their page. So here on the page, we've got some great information to explore. Um, if you scroll down a bit, you'll be taken over to their products. So you can click into any one of these product pages here to learn more about it. Save it to your firm library. That way you have a free future reference. But definitely check out their page when you have some time. There's some really great case studies and whatnot. I'll drop the link to this page in the chat in just a moment so you guys can take a look. All right, but before I pass it over, I also want to make sure everybody knows that today is an AIA-approved presentation. We collected your numbers already when you registered, so you're probably already good to go there. I'll also drop a form in the chat to collect the numbers again if you're worried that we didn't get your number. Other thing to make note of is we will be doing a poll today, so you'll see that pop up on your screen about 3/4 of the way through the presentation. That is an optional poll, so no need to fill it out if you're not interested in getting follow-up information. However, if you are, fill it out. We'll send you an email within a few days after the webinar. You can respond directly to that email to be connected with Aaron and his team. However, you can also log into your Acelab account and you can access all your conversations or respond there, ask project specific questions, things like that. Other thing to make note of is we will be doing Q&A too. So throughout the presentation, if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the Q&A box. So you'll see that button at the bottom of your screen. Yeah, drop any questions there. We'll read them out loud at the end and get to as many as we can. And last but not least, we will do a post-webinar survey as well. So after this webinar is over, feel free to leave any feedback that you have there. So that's all I have. Marwan, I'll pass it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Kayla. Yeah, so good afternoon, good morning to anyone who's on or not on the East Coast. My name is Marwan Shatila. I'm with Rulon International. Today, as discussed, we'll be walking through what I hope to be truly a value-driven presentation and just almost demonstration slash workshop. We definitely invite questions. I am the product manager for the system and the product line that we're going to be discussing that's tailored into this designing with engineered polymer presentation. So I can go as macro or as micro as we need to be throughout the presentation. If there are any questions, definitely please do ask, but let's jump right into it. Awesome. So just a brief overview of Rulon history. I don't want to harp on this too much, but I think that there are some very valuable points to know about Rulon International and if you decide to work with us now or in the future. So number one, we are a very established company. We've been in business for 40, going on 50 years now, which essentially means that we're very well versed in the architectural design community. Like we've worked on several complex projects throughout our tenure in the industry, and we're the best at what we do. So we are the leading custom acoustical and decorative wood ceiling and wall manufacturer in the United States. Our bread and butter has always been the custom solid wood and veneer products and systems that we do manufacture. But for all intents and purposes, what we're going to be discussing today is going to be systems that are like the one you see in front of you right now, right? So this is an engineered polymer product line that we have designed and engineered to essentially fill a void in the marketplace. And so this is separate to the wood systems that we make. But we are another very important aspect to note is that we are a privately held company. We are family owned, and essentially what that means is that we're making our business decisions free of any kind of influence for profits. We've been in business for a very long time. We have no intentions on selling, and essentially what that means as well is that we have our practices in a very unique kind of way. We definitely encourage a collaborative effort. So we are a sell direct manufacturer. Everyone that works for Rulon actually works for Rulon. So all of the engineers that you all will be working with, the sales representatives, they are all non-independent workers. So we don't have any, anyone outside of the organization that is representing us. And essentially what that means is everyone is well versed in the systems that we are working through, which is also very, very important for the contractors as well. We don't go through distribution, we sell direct. And essentially what that also does is keeps our price points very, very competitive. We have a sustainable focus, and we have a very big philanthropic focus as well, which Aaron, if you can go to the next slide, thank you. So one of the very notable things about Rulon that I think separates us from, a lot of other manufacturers in the industry is that we allocate a very significant amount of our proceeds toward philanthropic focused programs. So these are things like charities, hospitals, and the photos that you see below. It's actually our founder and his wife on the very top left-hand side. And this is part of a program that we focus on involving building homes in developing countries, where we actually send out Rulon personnel to help build these homes. So on the right hand side is our Guitar for Children's program, where we take all of our or a lot of our recycled content material to be used and constructed into guitars that we give to children in chemo hospitals and things of that nature. So Rulon, and the reason I'm touching on all of this, I think that it's notable is, when Rulon's focus from inception has always been to give back, and I can pretty much guarantee that more than anyone that I've ever seen, our company is solely focused on just that, is giving back. So all of that to be said, I think it's valuable to know who you're working with whenever you do. But without further ado, we'll kind of jump into some of the other aspects of the presentation. So program overview. As Caleb mentioned, this is going to be an accredited presentation. So you all will receive credits. This is going to be just a general overview of what we're going to talk about today. Again, I really want this to just be value driven. There are going to be some things in today's presentation that I might spend less time on or just breeze through, because I just want to make sure that the items that we do discuss are going to be really good takeaways for you all in the projects that you are working on and that you plan to work on. So if we go to the next slide. So this is going to be the brief overview of what we're going to discuss. And essentially what this is we're going to talk about what engineered polymer is, what it looks like, how it's composed, things like that. Applications that it's very well suited for in all of the projects that you may or may not be working on, as well as the supplemental information that is specific to Rulon and what your expectations can be as far as performance and why it is a value-driven solution in the construction space. So composition. Essentially, really, I could get into all of the chemistry that goes into a polymer system, but for all intents and purposes, really what you all need to know is that, whenever you are designing with an engineered polymer system, such as the ones that we carry, it's a proprietary blend. It can be UPVC or CPVC. And this blend is to conform to the requirements of building codes, right? So we're talking about Class A fire rating. We're talking about resistance to, corrosion, rust resistance, all of these kinds of features that are important in building putting together a building. right? Uh, the system that we have formulated and engineered, being the Endure product line, was specifically to fill a void in the marketplace. And that void that we saw was when you're not thinking of, solid wood or veneer systems, typically the industry has gravitated towards just a default metal system. Um, there's nothing bad with that, but there are a lot of really good value-driven aspects of designing with an engineered polymer system. So part of what makes this very valuable as well is the simplicity, right? This is a very, very simple profile to manufacture. We are extruding base material, and if you are, desiring a wood grain finish, we just apply a high-grade wood grain finish to that. This helps simplify the manufacturing process, where you just have dies and tools to extrude product, and helps with the emissions as well. Additives and modifiers, again, these are things like the Class A fire rated additives, the pigments, the UV resistant film, etc. And all of these things make this a very, very durable system to use whenever you are designing or putting some sort of wood grain or solid color soffit or wall in your building. Environmental impacts. So this is a strictly virgin system, right? So all of the additives that are added to this, they're all virgin products. So it's not recycled content. However, the system is 100% recyclable. And the reason why they are all virgin products is because those are necessary to be able to achieve the Class A fire rating or smoke spread or some of the other aspects that are important when installing a ceiling or wall into a building. For the same reasons that we have gone from copper piping to a UPVC piping, there is an extended life cycle when you are designing with a polymer-based system. And so where you may need to replace a metal system with a life cycle of 20 to potentially 30 years, this has a very, very extended life cycle just simply because of the composite material that it's made out of. We have done several projects that are 50, 40 to 40 years old approximately since the inception of Rulon's business, that have held up very, very well today. They're still installed. There's no need to replace them. And again, whenever that life cycle does end, whenever that is, they are 100% recyclable, which essentially just leads to less emissions. Very, very lightweight system as well. So product development. If you could go to the next slide, Aaron. This is just basically to show you all of the different all of the different areas that polymer is used throughout any kind of building, whether it's the carpet, furniture, windows, and as you all can see, the ceilings or extrusions that we manufacture. All right. So essentially, again, I noted that I might spend less time on certain slides. This is for all intents purposes, whenever you are designing, right? The systems that we have are going to be linear driven, but the actual process of creating a die or a tool to be able to manufacture product really begins with selecting the system or the look that you're trying to achieve. Again, whether that's a 4-inch module, a 6-inch module, linear system, such as what we have. It is about creating the tooling, sourcing materials, running material through, and then applying a laminate finish to it if there is a desired look that you're trying to achieve outside of a solid white, black, red, whatever kind of pigment the base is. Probably skip over this one as well, Aaron. Perfect. So as I mentioned, we are a custom wood ceiling and wall manufacturer. This is another product line that we do have. And this is the next few slides are essentially just going to be examples of some of these systems. So this is going to be our Endure product line. What we have are a 4-inch, a new to be or a coming soon 6-inch module, and then an 8-inch module, all of which have their own unique characteristics and performance aspects. You go to the next slide, Aaron. We also have, or actually, could you go back really quick? All of these profiles that I'm just going to hold up right now are going to be on the same track system. So as you all can probably see, this is going to be a 4-inch module right here, different wood grain finishes. It's going to be a interlocking, almost shiplap type of sealing, right? Where you can have a wood grain finish applied to this recessed spacer or not. You all will see on the back, these are not mechanically fastened. These panels are not mechanically fastened into the carrier system, right? They are just snapped into place. And you'll also notice that the base material can be essentially whatever it is that you desire it to be. So if you were looking for this particular profile without this full wood grain coverage and you wanted this to be black so that you could have that design intent, we could accommodate that, no problem, because again, we are a custom manufacturer and there's no issues with that. This is our 4-inch module. We also have another 4-inch module with a removable spacer, which I'll touch more on here in just a moment, which is great for acoustics. Again, it's installed in the same exact carrier system in the same exact way. We also have the 8-inch modules right here. It's the same as this 4, right? Also installed on the same carrier system, just a wider profile, along with the 8-inch integrated spacer profile, which is that same shiplap look that you all saw. The only system, all of these profiles install on the same track that I just showed you. The only one that is not is going to be this 400 profile right here, which is a true just direct attach shiplap type of sealing or wall application. Right here, you'll see that this is a metal finish and a wood grain, just to show you all, some of the capabilities of the looks that you can achieve or the finishes that you can accommodate whenever you're designing with this. Thank you. So we're just going to jump into some of the applications and where we have for the last 40 years been very, very successful in utilizing this type of system in building sectors. So one of the applications that this is going to be extremely suitable for is going to be things like canopies and soffits, right? Which essentially are exterior exposed applications, right? So we specifically engineered the system to be something that is installed and does not require any kind of maintenance, right? So the system is maintenance free. It does not need to be resealed. It does not need to be touched up down the road. It is not going to deteriorate, rust, corrode, things of that nature. The photo in front of you all happens to be one of our national accounts. So we work with brands to find the look and the performance that the franchise is looking for in their designs. This one being Shake Shack. And essentially what you all can see here on the bottom left-hand side is an engineered polymer system, such as the one that I was holding up before. It's that 4-inch module with that black integrated spacer because of the look that they were trying to achieve. You go ahead to the next one, Aaron. This is a really notable project that we completed. This is Mott Branch Library in Ohio. And one of the very significant aspects of this project that I like to touch on is, as I mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, Rulon is a very collaborative driven company. And so if you all have ever had an experience where you had an inspiration for a design, but you weren't exactly sure how you were going to bring it to life, we as a business practice, we highly encourage and we invite anyone to fly you all out basically to our headquarter facility in St. Augustine, Florida, where you can meet with the team, our team of engineers. And for this project in particular, we had flown out the architect, the developer, the general contractor, and the ceiling installer to be able to figure out how the architect was going to be able to accomplish this type of geometrical masterpiece, if you will. One notable thing on this job was that the same system was used on the exterior as well as the interior, which was very, very important to the architect because they wanted that transition from exterior to interior, and the same look applied to both. We go on to the next one. This is just another photo of a national account that we have. One of the sectors that we specialize in is going to be hospitality, just because they are looking for some kind of material to not only look very good in these franchises, but to hold up very, very well as well. This is going to be another photo of a exterior canopy application. One thing that's pretty notable to reference right here is going to be the linear light fixtures that are integrated into the system. So whenever you are designing with an engineered polymer system, such as the ones that we have, because they're a polymer-based solution, they are very durable, very rugged applications, but at the same time, they are very seamless to work with as a contractor. And so they accommodate these different kinds of can light fixtures, linear light fixtures, suspended light fixtures, what have you, and they're easy to cut, essentially, which is very, very important. It saves time, labor, money, et cetera, et cetera. But it also creates a system that is suitable for the different kind of design intentions that you all have, and all of which we have details for, shop drawings, et cetera. This is just going to be a brief summary of some of those photos, much of which I've already discussed. Another key aspect is going to be wind performance whenever you're designing with an exterior grade system. There is another slide later on that really harps on this, but for all intents purposes, this is built to and engineered to withstand, very, very high velocity wind loads in conjunction with the carrier system. Again, this is very, very suitable for coastal applications as well, just because it is a polymer-based solution. And so for those reasons, it becomes very, very advantageous whenever you're trying to avoid things like rust or corrosion. Next application is going to be clouds and interior. This photo right here captures a couple of things that are very notable. One of which is going to be, again, those linear light fixtures, those circular light fixtures, the diffusers, the sprinkler heads, the suspended light fixtures. Obviously, you can see that the panels are transitioning and water falling down from the ceiling to the wall. So just as easy as or simple as this is to install on a ceiling, it is even arguably more simple to install on a wall, for the reason being, this is a very, very lightweight system. Polymer-based solutions are just inherently going to be very, very lightweight. And so this is actually the module that was used on that photo right there. This is 1.6 pounds a square foot in its entirety. And so it does not require a lot of bracing for the system to be installed. While this is a proprietary carrier system, it is still it can still be suspended or direct attached using the same industry common accessory items that you and the contractors are used to. These are things like struts, hanger wires, again, direct screwing into a wall, a stud, some framing above, a steel beam, what have you. So very, very install friendly, very, very friendly for your clients, your developers, again, because it's going to be a maintenance-free system for a very, very extended lifetime. This is just to show you again a transition from a ceiling to a wall on an interior application. This happens to be a Fairfield Inn and Suites, which is another one of our franchise accounts. This particular project utilizes a 4-inch trim that I'll show right now. We see this a lot more common in designs where you have a suspended ceiling application, where this is what it would look like from a bottom view looking up. But if you did need to conceal all of the electrical, plumbing, what have you, accessory items, then this becomes a very, very good solution for that, which they utilize in the photo right here. They also have the lights protruding from behind the system to kind of give it that sort of illusion. So y'all, just to show you all some of the shapes that can be accommodated whenever you're working with the system. One of the aspects that we perform, or one of the services that we perform as a manufacturer, is we want things to arrive to a job site in the way that you all designed it to be. And so we want to take a lot of the liability and the headache away from the contractor. And so one of our capabilities is to custom radius our trims. So this is going to be a standard 1-inch J trim right here, which is essentially designed to just be a cap for the ceiling system. This is when it's running wall to wall. But again, because we are a custom manufacturer, we can custom radius this trim. I don't know if you all can see it right here, but this is radius, it's concave or convex. And so we will ship that over to the job site to be able to accommodate different kinds of geometrical shapes, such as circles that you see right here. This is also true for the 4-inch trim that we supply. This can also be custom radius, concave or convex right here. This photo is oh, go back in. Thank you. This photo is just showing you that seamless transition from interior to exterior. So you don't have to have any kind of concern. There is no change in the suspension system for the ceiling. There is no special requirements whenever you are going from exterior to interior. It's the same exact profile. It can be the same exact finish that you desire, all of which become very, very contractor friendly as well. There's no added costs. It is what it is. One thing that's notable in this photo right here is one aspect that we have to consider whenever we're installing in an exterior application is just the use of expansion joints, which I'll show you all right here. This expansion joint is simply used to accommodate for the fluctuation in temperature because all things in a buildings themselves will expand and contract. And so it's utilized right here where the butt ends of the panels join into it. In the photo that you all see in this application, you'll actually notice that there's an expansion joint running in a few different directions. And the reason why is because that expansion joint will also allow a pivot in the direction of the panels. So it's very clear to see towards the bottom left-hand side where some of the panels are running vertically, whereas some of the other ones are running horizontally. Additionally, if you do have a pitch in your ceiling, that expansion joint acts as a transition piece. All of that to be said, the key message is whatever your design is, we 99% have a solution because we've been in the industry for as long as we have, and because we're able to utilize all of the accessory items that we have brought to the marketplace to be able to accommodate these kinds of designs. I pretty much touched on everything here. I don't want to spend more time than we need to on just reading text. So radius applications, as I mentioned, we are a custom manufacturer. I showed you all some of the radius trim. If any of you have ever worked with a serpentine type of ceiling or wall application, we can accommodate that as well. I mentioned that we want to be very adamant about just ensuring that what you design is actually what comes to fruition. And so taking a lot of the work from the contractor and just providing material as it is supposed to be installed without them having to work in the field to fabricate material or anything like that. We take that upon ourselves. We include them into the shop drawings, and so that they can simply be focused on the installation of the product rather than the manipulation of it. And so you all can see this. Move back up. I'll show you all a visual just to give you reference. We're able to accommodate those serpentine looks by custom fabricating and custom radiusing our carrier system. As you all can see here, this can be concave or convex. It does not hinder the way that the panels snap into the carriers. It just simply is a modification that we make to the curvature of the carriers, which acts as the grid for the panels, so that everything arrives on site, like I said. This is another, this is a Fairfield and its suites, just to show you the concave and convex nature. We send the carriers custom radius, and the contractor is simply in charge of suspending the carriers and then engaging or snapping the panels into place. This is just another photo showing you just how radical or how aggressive that curvature can be, with the panels still performing and engaging into the carriers. I'm gonna move on to the next one. Corrosive environments. So again, I touched on the fact that this is, specifically engineered to be a install once, walk away type of product line for your clients. We love talking to you all. We do not enjoy callbacks when it's problems, and so we've done our very, very best to be able to bring a product to the marketplace that is going to prevent that. And so while this is a exterior grade application, it can certainly handle the conditions of the interior, but also some very, very corrosive environments like you see right here with this pool application. So where chlorine, moisture resistance, conditioned and unconditioned space become a factor, this is an excellent solution for that because it will not retain moisture, it will not oil can, it will not corrode, and you are able to get some airflow. I'll hold up this profile right here. I highly encourage, you can certainly use the integrated spacer profile, as you all see right here. Whenever I'm working with an architectural firm, I will typically recommend that they go open reveal, just because airflow and air circulation oftentimes are a desired aspect of the ceiling that they want. And so this becomes very, very suitable for those applications, again, because it's not going to collect moisture. This is a moisture resistant material. We do offer these powder coated carriers, as you see right here, in addition to the galvannealed steel ones, both of which have corrosive coating on them. But if you are looking for an open reveal system such as this, many times it can become a desired aspect to have either acoustics, or in this case scenario, corrosive, added corrosive tolerance. And so we offer these black powder coated carriers for, number one, added protection, for just peace of mind, but also number two, if you are having this open reveal, this can just look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, especially if you are putting acoustical fabric on the back, to be able to have a high NRC rating. This is all just to show you all a water treatment plant. Again, this is a very, by design, right, by the composite material, sort of a micro or antimicrobial system. It's very, very easy to clean, whether that be pressure washing, applying harsh chemicals to either finished with a laminate finish or just a solid system. It's very, very easy to clean. It's maintenance free. It's just very suitable for all kinds of harsh applications. This is just another one of our national accounts, is in LA Fitness, where they wanted somewhat of a suspended pool ceiling product. And so just a visual of that. One thing that would probably be notable on this particular project is you can see that the elevation of those ceilings are very, very high. And so a 8-inch module, just so you don't have that pencil look, was desired for this to just give some width to the panels. So I would say that that's probably notable here, just to be able to accommodate that kind of design that they're looking for. We could probably move on from that. So wall applications. We already saw some photos of some wall applications transitioning from ceiling down to the wall. I've showed you all some of the carrier systems. This happens to be a location where the direct attach, which, Aaron, if you want to show you again, this application right here, again, being the direct attach, was very, very suitable. This is excellent for remodels if you already have a pre-existing wall, gypsum wall, or ceiling condition, where you just simply direct screw, staple, or add adhesive to the back of the panels themselves, and they just interlock, giving you that flush, very thin, very lightweight solution. This is going to be a school application. So one of the very value-driven aspects of a polymer-based solution is that it's going to be very, very resistant to impact, right? So for all intents purposes, Rulon sources a not only UV resistant, but a graffiti-proof finish. So if one of our sectors, for example, one of our top selling sectors or most successful ones has been the education as well as the medical sector. And for the reasons why, sometimes these are damaged or there is graffiti or they are marked up, and there are cleaning solutions that can be applied to the actual panels themselves without impacting the finish, the wood grain, or the solid color finish of the system, which is very, very value driven, especially for some of your clients, right? Where you're not having to constantly replace material, have costly add orders, things of that nature. It is built to last. This is just to show you all another visual representation of the wall, utilizing some of the trims to accommodate the transition from vertical to horizontal, and to incorporate some of these wall panels, these decorative features right here that you can see. Go to the next one. Thank you. So engineered systems. We go on. So we don't need to spend, I think, too much time here. The core thing that I really want to deliver is, like I mentioned, Rulon is a very collaborative driven company. So we are working with all parties of the design team, as well as all parties of the project team, rather. Starting from design, working with you on the specification and the requirements that you have for your project, going all the way down to the contractor level, whether that is the general contractor or the actual installer. We provide all of the field technical support that is necessary. We have dedicated engineers to be able to create the shop drawings and be a resource to the entirety of the project team, right? So case in point, when you work with Rulon, you are working with Rulon throughout the entirety of the process, because if you all do not have a successful experience, then surely we cannot as well. And so we want to be more of a partner rather than a vendor with you all. This is just an outline of the shop drawings that we will always include in any kind of project. So we have a entire workforce of Rulon engineers for the custom shop drawings or submittals that are going to be required for your projects. We do have standard submittal documents as well, most of which can be found on our website. So if you have any questions regarding, just how does a certain profile go together, what are some of the details, how would I incorporate light fixtures into my project, we can provide all of those to you. Just simply ask again, at the end of this presentation, and we'll be happy to provide those to you all. So some of the photos that you all can see right here, right, are going to be on-site installations. It's a very, very simple system to install where you're simply suspending the carriers and installing the panels into them. But with the help of all of our shop drawings, our installation guides, our installation videos, our attachment methods, all of the things that make this a very, very seamless process, we've done all of that so that all parties of the or every member of the project team has a good experience, essentially. So whenever you are designing, if you do have any questions regarding some of the things that we discussed today, such as sprinklers, light fixtures, acoustical properties, I think that's probably one thing that I could touch on right now is we are able to achieve a 0.7 NRC rating. So if acoustics are a desired element of your project or the space in which you're considering utilizing a system like this, we can accommodate those without any issues. Accessibility is a very big aspect. I'm going to demonstrate all of that here in just a moment. But yeah, I guess case in point is if you have any questions regarding the space that you're installing, please definitely feel free to let us know and we'll help answer those. Attachment methods. So like I've probably reiterated a couple of times, this is a very, very, very seamless system to install. And the photo you see to the right-hand side, you don't need several people on the handling material to install it. You can see some of the flexibility of the panel as well. And so whenever you have applications that are radiused or that need a little bit of give, if you will, to them, the system comes in standard 18-foot lengths. And so it can have a little bit of manipulation if necessary in the field, but more importantly, it does not require several labor hands to be able to install it, which is very, very important for budget constraints within a project. Seismic design. So we have had this product installed throughout the entirety of the US. It's very, very lightweight, again, being 1.6 pounds a square foot. And these carriers do attach and suspend from several different means of decking or substrate that exist. And so we have been very successful in accommodating this without it being a conflict in seismic areas. It's not going to fall out because everything is engaged into the carrier system. And so you don't have an issue such as a lay-in tile or things of that nature. If there are any questions on this, obviously, please do feel free to ask. So I really describe this a polymer-based system in this product line in really three key words, and that is durability, accessibility, and profitability. So this is just going to show you some of the value-driven aspects of a polymer-based system with in respects to or in comparison to metal. So I showed you all that this is a extruded system in one color, such as you can see right here. That means the entirety of the system is all the same color. And what that essentially means is, the alternative, if you had, for example, a metal solution or a solid wood or what have you, would be that if you were to mark it up, this being a putty knife right here with a sharp edge, is if you scratch it, right? If there's impact to it, then you all can see that there is no change to the color of the system. And so alternatively, if you were using a metal system, the only way that you would be able to apply a red finish or a blue finish or whatever kind of finish that you had would be to paint it. And so when things inevitably do happen at a job site, or when the system is installed through the through the term of the building, when things do happen, you're not going to run into add orders, right? Or you're not going to have to run into sourcing, extra material or having a massive amount of attic stock on the project. It's built to last. It's built to be able to withstand any kind of impact or, like I said, graffiti or things of that nature. Because, as I mentioned earlier on, the composite material is a polymer-based solution. It is going to be moisture resistant. It's not going to corrode. It's not going to oil can or rust. It's very, very durable to impact. So just going to give you all a brief demonstration of what this essentially looks like in real time. So as you all can see right here, Aaron, if you'll give me this is an assembled 3x3 mock-up with several different panel sizes already installed on it. This being an 8-inch, 4-inch, what have you. On the back is just going to be the means in which the system is attached to the grid. Again, these are proprietary carrier systems that can be suspended via hanger wire, struts, or direct attached. I'm just going to lay this on the ground really quick. So this is exactly what it would look like assembled. And because of the nature of the system, being very durable, there is no compromise to the integrity of the panels after you apply that kind of force, right? Which is very, very important for your developers, for your clients, for contractors that are working with the material on site, so that there aren't add orders, right? This is one of the reasons that we brought this system to the marketplace, because we wanted to build something that was going to be very, resistant to damage, essentially. And if you could go back, please. So very, very lightweight. I already touched on this. This is 1.6 pounds a square foot. It's very install friendly. It doesn't need a lot of bracing during the design phase. It's going to provide thermal insulation. So one aspect that makes this very, very advantageous is that if you were to have a metal system, for example, one that is either in direct sunlight or in a space that is conducting heat, this does not transmit that heat because of the composite material that it's designed with, right? So it's not going to get very, very hot where you touch it and you burn yourself, things of that nature. I touched on cleanability, pressure washer safe. You can take a damp rag and apply it to it for interior applications as well. Any kinds of additives or chemicals that you use, disinfecting sprays or what have you, it can take all of that without any issues. And then finally, accessibility. So I'll just demonstrate this with regard to, our system. This is a putty knife right here. This is a very, very value-driven aspect of these systems that Rulon manufactures. So Aaron, you can show me. Yeah. So this is just a standard putty knife right here. This is a already installed system. This becomes very, very advantageous for your clients. Let's say a ceiling application or a ceiling is installed on a building and direct access is necessary for the plenum. We have details to illustrate what a access panel would look like, but if you did need to access the plenum for whatever reason, change in electrical or what have you, you wouldn't need any kind of fancy gadgets. The maintenance team could do this themselves. All you would need is a putty knife and a few hands, where you tuck the putty knife into the panel. You show that on the side right here, hopefully all you can see. But you line it up with the carrier, you tuck it in, you pull back. Going to demonstrate again. Tuck it in. You're able to pull back, tuck it in, pull back. And then one more time right here, tuck it in, pull back. And now you have full accessibility to the plenum, right? That didn't take too long to reinstall. Again, because these are not mechanically fastened, you're simply going to take the panel, line it up into the carrier system, and apply pressure. and you're right back where you started. The very big value add. This is part of the reason we've seen a lot of demand in the education sectors, the medical sectors, the hospitality, just simply because accessibility can become a very big requirement for some of these jobs that need maintenance or changes to the electrical or redesigns or what have you, right? We can go on to the next slide. Performance. Perfect. So it's a very rigid system, as I mentioned. We have tensile hardness testing. This film that is applied, much like I just demonstrated before, taking that putty knife and scraping up the solid base material, the film is not going to scratch, either. So it's built to withstand whatever kind of environment that it is in. It is not going to collect moisture. It's not going to collect salt either, so it's not going to corrode, impact resistant. The UV resistance, the film that we source is a premium grade UV resistant film. So essentially what that means is when it is installed in a indirect or direct sunlight application, it is not going to fade over time. It is not going to need to be resealed to withstand the light exposure. The way that it looks installed on day one will be the way that it looks installed on year 30, right? And this is to give the design team, the developers, and the installers that kind of peace of mind. We touched on graffiti. I mentioned that it is basically graffiti proof because the composite material itself is not going to require, it is a tough substrate. So it can be cleaned and it can take harsh chemicals applied to it. Wind load testing. So right here, this photo on the right-hand side just shows a building where if you can see on the left photo that where the panels are damaged. This is just one to illustrate some of the rigid aspects of our ceiling. On the left-hand side is where a metal system was installed next to a polymer-based system, and a hurricane had come through, ripping all of the metal panels out. All of the polymer panels stayed in place to the point where the design team actually just replaced everything with the same polymer linear system. So we do have testing for all of this. We actually just acquired a Florida product approval number, which meets the criteria for Miami-Dade high velocity hurricane zone. So anyone on the East Coast and coastal climates where you are predisposed to high wind conditions, this is a very, very excellent solution for soffits or soffit conditions in those environments. Safety and human health impact. We don't have to spend too much time on this, but essentially what this is alluding to is that we do have certifications. We manufacture very, very responsibly to mitigate the emissions that are used in the manufacturing process for this product line. All of the waste material for this particular product line none of it goes to landfill. In fact, all of it is used, it is given to a third-party facility that utilizes the waste or scrap material in playgrounds. So, some of the turf that is used in those playgrounds, it is utilized for those. So there is no direct environmental impact, negative impact with the manufacturing process that we use. Fire performance, I touched on the fact that this is Class A fire and smoke spread. So that's just a box that we need to check as a manufacturer to make sure that we're, engineering a system that's going to be suitable for building conditions. And then as we wrap up this presentation, these are just going to be a couple of case studies. If there's any golf fans out there, this is PGA Tour headquarters in Ponte Vedra, Florida, where we utilize this engineered polymer system, this indoor product line, for both the interior and exterior applications on this project. On the lower left-hand side, you can see that the that PGA wanted a wider profile for the exterior, which you can see on the top left-hand side, simply because that ceiling elevation was so high and they didn't want that pencil look. However, they wanted acoustics on the interior. So as I showed you all earlier with the 4-inch module and that removable spacer, they just applied some insulation behind the panels, opened up that reveal, and they were able to achieve a 0.7 NRC rating. This is approximately 100,000 square feet of material. So we're very, very pleased with this project. We discussed a little bit of Mott Branch Library. This shows you the interior application where acoustics were, required, but they wanted to maintain that same finish and module for the exterior. This became very, very advantageous for the contractor as well, because they had economies to scale when they were working interchangeably between the interior and exterior. And so just another case study. Touched on this Shake Shack working with brand designs, the customization of the finish. If you wanted some customization in the look of the finished product, where you would like the reveal to be black or another color, we can accommodate that to be able to achieve that look. And then finally, questions.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's see. So I think we have a little bit of time for questions, so I'll go ahead and jump right in. First, we have, what material is the carrier system made from? Same polymer?
I'm so sorry, it cut out for just a moment. Could you repeat that?
Okay, good. It's saying what material is the carrier system made of, and if it's the same polymer.
I see. It is a galvannealed steel, iron zinc material with a protective coated. So it is 22 gauge galvannealed steel carrier system. So
Okay.
it's not made from the same material as the panels themselves.
Gotcha. Okay, and this next one is looks like it's a project specific question, so it's a little bit longer. Somebody is looking to replace a current 6-inch or six. I'm not sure if it's
6-inch
6 inch.
redwood lap siding
You
installation.
see it, yeah, on a single family residence, but the client desires to maintain the redwood aesthetics. Please address whether the direct attachment system is available in a redwood finish and could be used on vertical exterior wall siding application. We'd also be interested to know how you'd address the typical trim board details.
Yeah, absolutely. So we could definitely point you to either the website, send you samples, or send you finish booklets of what available finishes we have. The questions that I would have, to service this would be, what is the total square footage that you all would be looking to potentially utilize this system, the direct attach being the one that you seem to be interested in. What is the total square footage? We are a custom manufacturer. We're made to order. And so there are, we do offer all of these, most of these profiles for these smaller quantity jobs with a specific amount of finish options, right? Just because, we can't shut down entire assembly lines for, a few square feet. But I would definitely we could definitely look into what options we have. And as far as the trims and whether or not it would be suitable for an exterior wall siding application in wood, we would be able to incorporate some of those expansion joints that we touched on, and just make sure that that aligns with what the homeowners are looking for. And so we could definitely have a further conversation on all of that.
Perfect. All right. Well, we are right at time, so I don't want to go over. If there's any other questions, folks, we'll we'll share your email address so that way Marwan or somebody from the Rulon team can email you an answer to your question. Um, but is there any final comments you'd like to make today, Marwan?
No, I appreciate everyone tuning in. I do see some photo or some questions regarding the panel sizes. I can address all of those in email. So if Kayla, you want to include mine to everyone that's on here, I'd be happy to answer any kinds of questions. I think that the key message that I would really like to portray to everyone is that, we've just full transparency, we've seen a lot of success with this system in the marketplace. And for the reasons that I've outlined, it is very, very value driven for your clients. And so any questions that anyone does have, whether it be access panels, 2x2s, different lengths, what have you, I can provide all of that information without any issues. So definitely do please, feel free to reach out to myself or a sales representative, and we can set up some time.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, that's great. All right. Well, the folks that filled out the poll report, we'll get you guys connected over email for sure after today. So look out for that email in your inbox coming from a no reply Acelab email address. So you can respond directly to that email to ask any further questions. But otherwise, we really appreciate everyone being here. Thank you, Marwan and Aaron. It was a really great presentation, and we hope you all have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.